Hello and welcome to Ed Talk. This is the show that discusses educationally related themes in our Nevada County schools. I'm your host, Scott Lay, Nevada County Superintendent of Schools. We're so glad you could be with us today. Today we're going to talk about the Family Resource Centers. We've talked about this in the past, but it's kind of new and exciting. It's morphing into something different, and we're excited about that. With me is my guest, Sarah Morgan, who is the coordinator of the Community Schools program, and that not only encompasses the programs that are currently known as the Family Resource Centers, but also the developing landscape out there in California with more community-based schools. So Sarah, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me,
So
Scott.
glad you're with us and you're here with the audience to tell us a little bit more. So in your role as the coordinator, what do you coordinate? What do you do?
That's a great question. I'm like the glue, the coordinator that holds everything together. So, and pieces things together. So one of my favorite things to do is collaborate with local partners. And so bringing public health into our family resource centers, bringing behavioral health into our resource centers, and then private companies like Victor and the Bright Futures for Youth. We're all working toward the same goal, which is helping families and community and children, of course. And so I spend a lot of times on the phone meeting people, saying, please come to our family resource centers. What do you have that is available for families? Well, we'd like some, please. Right. And so we have a staff that I also help coordinate, who are always running different programs. And for example, this week we're celebrating Screen-Free Week. We're encouraging families and kids to get off their cell phones and their computers and take a walk or play a game with the family. So we do different programs out in the community as well as in the center.
Great. All right. Well, we're definitely going to dig into that a little more, kind of talk about the current landscape, as I mentioned, with the original 3 Family Resource Centers, and then what it looks like, the partnerships not only with our other agencies in the county, but also with our school districts who are doing. But Sarah, for you, what is your background? How did you end up here in Nevada County in this role of coordinating the Family Resource Centers?
Well, it was sort of a long path up here in the mountains, which I love, by the way. I love walking around and smelling the pine trees. It's just, I feel like I'm on vacation every day. I recently came from the Bay Area, where I was a teacher librarian in high school. And so I was a teacher librarian for 20 years, and before that, a 5th grade bilingual teacher, bilingual Spanish, that is. And so I've always, my passion, my education is helping kids, helping families, helping teachers. And I think the librarian role really taught me about finding the best resource for individual people.
Right. Yeah, because libraries have a lot of resources that we get to serve families. Yeah, in the community.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And so a student or a teacher or a principal or a superintendent will walk into the library and say, I need this.
Right.
And I would say, oh, I know exactly.
You knew where to find it.
Yep,
yeah.
Exactly.
Great.
And so matching people with resources is a passion of mine. And my family moved up here. We live just down the road on Highway 49, and we bought a big piece of property, and we're building that garden and living off the land. Well, not quite, but maybe someday.
But more so than you were in the Bay Area.
Absolutely.
All right, very good.
So
good.
Here I am with you and your team.
And so that kind of prepped you in the library and teaching librarian, then coming up here to, with a move, and then looking at the community resources that were here for our schools.
Right, and as a new person to the community, my eyes were wide open, and I was able to say, oh, this partner over here could partner with this partner. And so I think it helped that I was new to the community to say to the people out there, please come. And it was a new fresh voice and a new fresh face to the centers and the community. And I was able to invite people in sort of without any preconceived background. Starting fresh.
Right. Great.
Yes.
Now currently and kind of historically for the last decade, we've had 3 and I currently is not quite accurate, it's a little bit different, but historically we've had 3 family resource centers. We had one in Penn Valley, we had one in Grass Valley, and up on the ridge in North San Juan.
Right.
So with that, that's been the model, serving those, and they've morphed from another program before that, and so what was their mission at the time? When you came in, the mission that you walked into is slightly different than the mission today.
That's true.
Right, and that always comes down to funding. It comes down to different programs, what current needs are.
Absolutely.
So, yeah.
And staffing too. Sometimes our staff is shining at one particular program, or they're particularly good at one thing. And so right now we do a lot of mobile programs, we call them. And so staff is happy to go into schools. Staff is happy to partner with the local churches and then the local just different youth provider groups.
Right.
And so sometimes we're taking our show on the road.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And I know that happened because the 3 areas we had our family resource, or currently still have 2 right now, were also school districts that got community schools grants.
That's right, yes.
And so the first one to really change was Grass Valley. And that's really where our center there did close this year, but we had to take the show on the road.
Exactly.
As you were saying. And instead of like, oh no, this isn't going to work, you changed it. You just transitioned and off we went while Grass Valley built up their program.
Yes.
Right.
Exactly.
So what is, some of our viewers might go, well, wait a minute, you had a family resource center in Grass Valley, Penn Valley, Twin Ridges area, North San Juan, and then the schools have community schools, the community school grants, so they're building a center. The difference, so what was the difference?
Well, going back to that mission, our mission and their mission and the word our, the big word our, is to help families be healthy,
Right.
Mitigate any kind of issues they might be having, whether it be with food, clothing, medical care, things like that. And so that's still our mission, and it's still the community schools' mission to help them. So what we're really doing, we being the Family Resource Center and the community schools, are wrapping students as a whole child, knowing that their families are a part of them as human beings, and they need their families. So we're wrapping the community, the families, the children in services, outreach, concrete services such as clothing and food, so that they have what they need right there on location. So they don't have to travel.
Right, which is always really nice.
And so they don't have to travel to North San Juan, for example. They don't have to travel to Penn Valley, our 2 current family resource centers.
Yep.
So we will go to them, or they can go to now their school. So
Right.
for example, Grass Valley School District now has a food program and a clothing program. And they're partnering with us in our mobile programs
Right.
too. So really, I think this change has brought us closer together, and we're working together for the children of Nevada County.
Right. So then your role, let's take Penn Valley, which is transitioning from what used to be our Family Resource Center. Now we're kind of handing it over, I guess, would be kind of to the Penn Valley School District.
Yeah.
And they're taking it. So you're helping with that transition, probably talking about what services were needed the most.
Yes.
Partners that worked well, and then working with their district
Right.
on what to
As
do.
the community school coordinator, it was my job to help them figure out what their needs were. So they ran some surveys, as our other districts as well, and surveys with children, parents, community members. So they really got a great look at what the community needs, not what we thought
Right.
they need,
Right.
which is
different. Can be very different.
It can be very different, and so they realized they needed some of the same things that we actually still have, and so they're building a center, and we are partnering with them instead of the other way around.
Right.
And so they're running their center with the resources that their community needs, which also includes just an ear if you need to talk to someone. If you just need a downtime, you can sit on the couch or have a snack, which is part of being in this hectic lifestyle that we live in. And we're helping especially with the 0 to 5 children. So the 0 to 5 children usually don't go to school unless they're in TK or kindergarten, of course. Or preschool. But some of the kids come to our play group, and we do that twice a week in each of the cities that you mentioned. And so we're going to continue that. We're going to continue that because their community needs that. They do not have another substitute for the art program, so we're going to stay there. So the community might look in the center and look around and say, oh, it's the same people. You're doing the same things, but really the school is running the
doing it now.
center
So
now.
the parents, you may think it is, but it's actually changing as we go through it. Now, I know also we are changing, ever so subtly, the name of the program that you oversee. So instead of calling them Family Resource Centers, we're changing it to?
Just Family Centers.
Family Centers.
Or, excuse me. No, not. We're taking away the center. I was confused. So we're calling it Partners Family Resources now, not centers.
Centers, because we're getting away from the specific center, and being able to offer services. Because traditionally, the 3 sites in Penn Valley, Grass Valley, and up on the ridge in North San Juan were available to all students in all school districts. The reality is it really just served the 3 school districts they resided in because of distance and geography. It made the most sense. If you lived in Grass Valley, you're going to go there. If you live in Chicago Park, you probably weren't going to drive into Grass Valley. But this now makes our program next year, as you're overseeing it, a little more mobile. And
absolutely.
To see there. So we not only have the Family Resource Center, but underneath what you do are the partners. See, I'm going to get it wrong. Partners Family Resources. Skip the center. What else do you oversee? Because there's a couple of the components that are part of that resource that we offer to families here in Nevada County.
Well, in addition to the concrete services and then the programs that we run, I help the schools write grants. And so you mentioned the Community Schools Grant that came from California Department of Education. There's several different rounds of that, so we're always looking for that. But there are also other grants that can support our programs and their programs, so they can hire more staff, more helpful, maybe social worker type staff. So I'm always looking for grants and helping manage the grants. Managing grants actually takes some time. Which is huge.
And writing a grant and picking them out, that's a skill set unto itself.
Yep.
Yeah, that's very difficult.
And my past is working with grants from California Teachers Association. So California teachers need all the support that they possibly can get. So I was hopeful with grants for teachers. So grants are not new, but the amount of grants that we have is one of my tasks here at NCSOS.
Yeah. What about bilingual services?
We have bilingual services. We have 2 promotoras.
And for our audience, a promotora, because people might go, what's a promotora?
Is a Latino family outreach specialist. And so they are bilingual Spanish and English. And both of our promotoras were born in other countries other than the United States. So they're also bicultural. So they can really help those families that are immigrating, are new, have those kind of questions that, legal questions. I mean, they're not lawyers, but they can take them to the law library and lead them to the right resource. So again, they're resource specialists.
And access services that are there for them, and we want to provide. All the schools want to provide, but they may not know the process. And quite often, I know you may go to a school and they don't have a bilingual speaker, and so they're there to help navigate them through those process.
Right.
Which is great. And they travel, correct? I mean, they're
They
just not sat in a desk.
No, they
are two.
travel to the clients, to the people of the community, and even take them to their appointments. And so they can go to an IEP at the school.
Right.
They can
Which
take
is
them
individualized education plan, because in education we live in the world of acronyms.
We love acronyms.
Yeah, and
yes.
so to help them out, right?
So they will translate for the parents who are curious about what's going on in the schools or curious about what's going on for their child in their classroom situation. Recently, one of our promotores helped a family navigate finding a new house to live in. And that particular family has 4 kids in the Grass Valley School District. And so our promotor helped register the students, made sure they had the right vaccinations, and made sure they were comfortable, because we know that if families have what they need and they're comfortable, physically comfortable, emotionally comfortable, then they can excel. And
the students are they can just focus on their school.
Yes.
Which is what we want, so they do well. And then we also have parenting services underneath this umbrella.
One of our team members, we call her a family parenting specialist. And so that's our Janae Anderson, who you may have read her article in the Union newspaper every other week. So she's a fantastic resource as well. And so she teaches parents. She teaches parents how to parent.
Right.
Wouldn't that have been nice when we were young parents?
Like the hidden manual.
Yes.
For the kids
so
that we're always looking for.
She's got it.
Yeah.
She's got it. And so we're expanding her menu of classes to the community, to not only 8-week sessions that she teaches at the different schools around our community, but also a one-time workshop. So she will travel to the different school districts or different charter schools here in Western Nevada County and teach the parents different subjects, so they would know what they're signing up for. So a lot of parents have questions about how to get their child to do homework, about sibling rivalry.
Age-old questions. Yes.
And so Janae can help with that. And she's available even this summer. So perhaps one of our partner school districts would like to host us during the summer. We are available all year.
All year long.
Monday through Friday.
All right. So let's say let's be our audience members out there listening, and they're looking for a parenting class. How do they find it?
On our website, which is what is
ncsos.org. You just type that in?
ncsos.org, yes.
Right?
Thank you. Yeah.
And then what tab do you click under?
You click on Educational Services up at the top.
Okay.
And then the Partners Family Resources is under that
Maybe there,
tab.
sub-tab, as you go into that. And then you would find your...
You can find our team.
Okay.
And so I'm right at the top.
So contact information. If you can't find exactly what you're looking for, or you're not quite sure, they could call you. Leave a message if they don't get directly in touch with you to find out with that. And then what about, how do they contact like their schools about this?
Contact the school secretary.
Just reach out to the school secretary and they'll tell you.
Secretary, yes. And there's a person, a community schools coordinator, which is a new person, a new staff person, who is kind of like the glue, like I am, who's coordinating all of these services. So the school office staff would put them in contact with the community schools coordinator.
And those are for the 3 districts that hold them. So that again, it would be the Grass Valley School District, the Penn Valley School District, and it still will be on the Ready Springs campus.
Yes.
Correct? Okay. And then up with the Twin Ridges Elementary School District.
Yes.
And
so you could call Grizzly Hill School up on the ridge, or you could call the preschool there. We share a building with the preschool up on the ridge. But I do want to excitedly tell the audience that other schools in our county, even if they did not receive the grant, are going forward with some of these initiatives, some of these outreach, some of these connecting initiatives. And so I would invite the audience to call any of the school offices and ask for the kinds of resources that they need.
Okay, and they can do that and find out what they have.
Yeah.
That's good. Good advice. So let's look at to next school year. What is the program gonna look like then? As they kind of settle into these 3 districts, we're helping them with services. Any big changes at those 3 sites?
The big changes will be the center will be sometimes moved. For example, in Penn Valley, it's actually going to shift into a different
so physically
building.
Move to just a different building, same campus, different building.
Same campus, different building.
Okay.
It may have a different name that is now up to the school district. But like I said earlier, you're going to see us there still because we're still partners, and you'll see the school staff in there staffing the center full time. They're even considering evening hours, which we found would be really handy for parents.
Yeah, that would be great.
Absolutely.
All right. Well, now kind of a last question for you. What about Dream Big? So what would you like to see the Family Resource Center, if like this dream, if you could add something to these 3 districts and to the program that we operate, what would that be?
I would love to see every school district in our county have this a center or a hub or whatever you want to call it, and then we, my staff and my team, would be in a center also, so that we would be easier to find. So for example, if you wanted to talk to me or one of our promotoras or our parenting specialist, you would be able to find us in a place also. But really, we want to hand over the real work to the school districts because they have the students there, they have the families there.
It's the most natural location for it to function in.
Absolutely, and this helps students stay in school too. And we're always hoping that kids have excellent attendance and they're attending classes. They're happy, they're well adjusted, they're able to learn. So all of these centers or programs or mobile services working together only helps.
And it helps the parent's job. Makes it a little bit easier because being a parent's tough stuff.
Yeah, it is.
Good. Well, anything else you want to add?
Well, I'm just super excited to be here with you, Scott, and your team. And we look forward to seeing parents out in more community events. So I'm excited to plan barbecues and plan things on each site with the families. And I want to encourage all the families to come out to the school, but make school like your second home. Be comfortable there, because the staff and we partners are only there to partner with you and make your education and make your life smoother.
Great. So again, for our audience, if you want to find out about the county operated programs that falls into the Superintendent Schools Office, go onto our website, ncsos.org, scroll to Educational Services, go down, and you'll see the services there. And then also in our 3 school sites at the Ready Springs site within the Penn Valley area. You go there, Grass Valley there, as well as Twin Ridges in the North San Juan area. Click there and find out about that.
Yeah.
Great.
Give me a call.
Very exciting. All right. Well, Sarah, thank you so much for joining us today, for telling our audience a little bit more about what the Community Schools Grant is, what the Family Resource Centers have been doing, and what they will be next year, which is the one more. Partners Family Resources Centers are now at the schools. All right. Great. Thanks. And thanks to our audience. We really appreciate you joining us. Take care of yourselves.